Hello and welcome everyone to this live broadcast at St. Olavsleden. Well, that's how we pronounce it in Swedish, St. Olavsleden. You know the Pilgrim Trail that goes from Selånger, which is outside of the city of Sundsvall. It passes through forests and open landscapes to the city of Östersund. And then it continues along the big lake Storsjön to the ski resort Åre, continues up over the hills and the mountains, and we cross the border of Norway and passes through the heritage of Stiklestad, and finally the trail reaches Trondheim at the Atlantic coast. Well, the one of you who is looking, of course, you already know this because you have some kind of interest in St. Olavsleden. But I'm still happy to say that we will now have 7 Tuesdays in a row where we will do live broadcasts along the trail, starting today in Selånger, and in 7 weeks we will be in Trondheim. Along this tour you will get knowledge, you will get some inspiration, some practical stuff, some spiritual stuff. We will learn about the Christian story and visit some churches and get visits from some pilgrims. My name is Marianne and I've been working with St. Olavsleden for many years with marketing. And behind the camera is my colleague Tilda. And Tilda, she will get questions from you. So if you have any questions through Facebook, please write it down. And Tilda will deliver it to me and we will try to answer them, all of them. The best part of my job has been when I meet pilgrims from all over the world. And I'm especially happy that we today will be joined by 2 pilgrims who tomorrow will start their journey from Selånger. But not right now, we will have some other guests as well. Hopefully me and my guests will finish this program in about 45 minutes, something like that. And along this trip together, I really hope that you ask questions and then that we can answer them as good as possible. First, I would like to welcome, please come, Helene Westerlind. Please have a sit down, Helene. We were talking about this before because we are a bunch of Swedish people who will speak English throughout these 45 minutes. But we think that it's more important that you can understand us than that we speak Swedish. So we will do it in English anyway. In one way, I'm not really the host of this place. It's more you who is the host of Selånger because you work here at the Pilgrim Center and at the Church of Selånger. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this place, Selånger? Where are we?
We are in the first city of Sundsvall. We didn't have Sundsvall in the beginning. It was all situated in Selånger, and we are pretty proud of this, I must say. And we had a lot of business going on in Selånger, and we had a big church here, and this is where everything started. And this is also the place where St. Olav came ashore with his ship and where he started his journey back to Norway to gain the Norwegian crown. And we are very proud of this. And we are sitting now in the old St. Olav church, which was built to honor him as a saint. And I'm very happy about this. It's a very nice place, I think.
Yes, this ruin that we have behind us is not from the time of St. Olaf. It's a little bit newer than that, right?
Yeah, that's right. He came to us in 1030 on his way to Stiklestad, and this church was built in the 12th century. And in the beginning it also had a roof, but it was ruined in 1846, and we had already built the new church up the hill, so everybody started to go to the mess up there.
You told me before, I think you told me about this open ark to the left, but there is no open ark to the right, but there was one, was it?
Yeah, that's true. And on your right side, there is the ark for Maria, the mother of Jesus, and on the left side it was the ark for St. Olav. So we were very proud about this in these days as well.
When we talk about St. Olav, we usually have to ask, do we really know that he came ashore here?
I would say, of course we are, but that would be a modified truth, I think. We think that he was here, and the legends tell that he was, and well, we continue to tell this story because I think that's the way how people remember things as well.
And at the time for Olaf, when he arrived here, I know he was on his way to Norway to Christian the country. Was Sweden already a Christian country at that time?
It depends, because we were living with the Christianity as well as with the Nordic, the belief in the Nordic gods, and these two religions were important to people as well. So we still believed in strange and creepy things, but also in the new God, Jesus Christ.
So it was just in the time when it changed, I guess then. I also heard that this ruin now was a church and it was built, but before this, was there a wooden church that St. Olav actually could visit?
I don't have any proofs for that either, but it's a nice thought, and I think people always have they want very much to have a place to go where they can worship their gods, and I think it's possible that we had a wooden church before. It would be strange otherwise.
Today there is another church and there is a pilgrim center, and right outside this church ruin we have a cemetery as well. This place, is it describe it to you as your Christian place. What is it worth today?
It's a beautiful place. It has a lot of history and a lot of nice people living here, and the farmers of Selånger are very, very delightful, and they are also so proud of their church and of the parish. So it's a joyful thing to be here and to work with them together. I love that.
I think that you and me should get up and go outside, because you've told me that we can actually see where the shore, where the ocean was in 1030, I mean 1000 years ago. So let's go and check that out and see where Olaf actually came ashore. And Tilda, you just hang along here. So we will see if we can find out. It's a beautiful view, but maybe you can see the houses in the back, which is not that beautiful anymore. But this wasn't here when Olaf came ashore. Tell me, where can we find the waterline, the shore?
If you see the small tree ahead and you go like a meter on the left side, there is a flag, but it's actually not a flag, it's a wooden axe. And this was also the weapon from St. Olav, and he's when he is as an icon in the church, he is with his axe together, because it was very important for him not only to kill people but also to put the trees away and just to make sure he could get forward with his guys.
So he didn't have any other weapons. It was like the axe.
I think he had a sword and a knife, of course, but this is the weapon which goes with him when he was buried as well.
And now, if we go back 1000 years, there is water out here.
Yeah, that's right.
And there is a ship coming in.
Yeah.
And Olaf, who is not Saint Olaf at that time.
No.
He comes ashore, and what do we know about him by then? What's his mission?
We know that he was born 995 after Christ, and he was born in Norway. And he made a lot of journeys to France and to Belgium and to Germany just to experience Christianity down there, and he was impressed by that. And he had a mission. He wanted to go up to Scandinavia, to Norway, which wasn't Norway at the time, but Scandinavia, and his mission was to make them Christians, all of them. And he made his very best, but there was a lot of they were fighting each other, and the Norwegians didn't like this. They didn't approve, so they throw him out, and he had to flee for his life, and he went back to Novgorod to visit his ex-fiancée, and he stayed there for 2 years, and then he had another vision in his dreams, and he came back to Sweden to travel to Norway to regain the Norwegian crown. That was his mission, and to make Norway finally Christian.
Wow. And what a journey, because you won't see, but there is this big European road now, gravelled, traveling cars on all the day, but at this time they had horses and probably not really big roads going all the way to Trondheim, so it was a big experience back then.
Yeah, that's true, and they made their best to make it forward, and I think they went by boat and by horse and as fast as they ever could, but it would have taken some time as well. But it's I think it's very interesting and exciting, this story, and I love to tell it.
And Helene, you work with the church, but you also work with the Pilgrim Center, who is situated right up here. It's the red building behind us. And as my last question to you, I know that you almost every day during the summer give a blessing or say something to the pilgrims who will start their journey. What's your feelings about that?
Oh, it's magic. It's pure magic, and it's so nice to meet them. It's astonishing how you in a couple of minutes get so close. And when they ask for a blessing and want me to send them away, I do that with all my heart and all my belief, and I hope they will be safe and surrounded by friendly people along the path. That's my mission.
Great. Thank you so much for your part of the story. And as I told you in the beginning, we do have 2 pilgrims that you will send off tomorrow. But tonight they are here with us. So let's go in and talk to Kevin and Marianne. And now, Kevin and Marianne, please come and join me. You will get one place each. I already introduced you back then, but you didn't hear that. No, I didn't say more than I know that you are starting your pilgrimage tomorrow. And just to introduce you a little bit more, I know that you, Kevin, is from Ireland from the beginning, and you, Marianne, is from Denmark. And today you both live in Denmark, is that correct? Yeah. So, I must ask the first question that we always ask the pilgrims. Why are you doing this?
I've always wanted to do a pilgrimage from beginning to end, and when I heard and learned a bit about the St. Olav's Lane, I thought that's the one for me. I turned 60 this year as well, so if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So for me, it's come at a good time in my life, and St. Olav's Lane just looks the perfect one for me in terms of length and history and the landscapes, the places along the way. And the stories of others who've done it have inspired me too, so I'd like some of that.
And do you agree, or are you just following along? Or what's your thoughts about doing the pilgrim?
Well, I do have an opinion. I do agree. And I also have my own story.
Please tell us your story.
And well, the short version is that I would like to go a pilgrimage in silence. It's like a retreat, and this is a perfect pilgrimage where there are not that many people. The nature is beautiful, and just have 30 days in prayer and contemplation. Yeah.
When you say you want to do it in silence, have the two of you talked about how much will you talk during the way, or will you be silent during the day and talk at night? Have you ever talked about that?
No, it's not pre-planned, but for anyone who has ever been on a retreat, there's a certain rhythm, prayer rhythm, structure to the day, time for prayer, but also time for if we want to just look at something that is beautiful and share that moment together. So it's not like strict silence, but take the space for it. Yeah.
And coming home after, will you go all the way to Trondheim?
I hope so, yeah. If they'll have us.
I know, but some people do it in 3 years and they split the trail. So I had to ask, when you come to Trondheim, what do you think you will have achieved inside yourself?
Oh, I think it'll be a tremendous achievement personally. I think mentally, physically, spiritually as well. There's something about sticking with something that's not always easy to the end. And like a 30-day time period sounds like a good time period for me, from my own experience of the 30-day retreat with St. Ignatius, for example. It takes that amount of time before you really get into the depths of yourself and can listen to the voices from God, from nature, and from each other as well. So I'm hoping that after 30 days of walking, is that we do reach that deep contemplative state. But I probably will be delighted when it's over, actually, as well. So physically, that is going to be a challenge. But we take it a day at a time, and we trust God will provide.
Are you Christian? Are you spiritual? What's your background in that?
Well, I'm a Protestant, and I'm a mixture from the Protestant, but that's my background. Brought up in a Christian home, and it takes up a lot of my daily life. Yeah.
Because we know from experience that some do this because of their belief, but some do it because of something else, that maybe something that has happened in life, a divorce, a close death, something like that, because you need your inner journey. What about you?
Well, I'm Catholic. The background, I'm actually a former Catholic priest. I left the priesthood to marry this lady here. So I also work for the Pilgrims.Two in Maribor, so I'm involved in Pilgrims Wandering. Been there a few years now. I look after the guests that come to our little herberge there. So as someone who's involved in Pilgrims Wandering in Denmark, I'm very impressed with the setup that you have here in Sweden and in Norway, and we can certainly learn a lot from that. So I kind of have a professional interest, but personally, it is the spiritual motivation would drive me more than anything, particularly the nature, the history of the place, and arriving at Trondheim with its own history. So I could justify doing the pilgrimage entirely on spiritual grounds.
Now tomorrow you will start. What kind of preparations have you done when it comes to, accommodation, food? How much will you carry? Have you prepared for a long time?
In all fairness, I think I asked Kevin to.
Okay, it's the answer of Kevin.
No, we thought about it. It says about a year since we made the decision to try St. Olavsleiðin. We rejected the Camino in Spain because we didn't like the heat and the crowds, and just something about St. Olaf spoke to us immediately when we found out that there was a trail with an infrastructure behind it. We spent a lot of time getting our gear together, the boots, backpack, a lot of research and YouTube videos, that sort of stuff. And lately we've been watching videos of people who have already done the trail, including your site. So the interviews that you've done in the past have been very useful and very inspiring as well. For the trail itself, we haven't done a lot. We have a tent, so we're hoping to take good advantage of LM Men's Retta, which is a fantastic thing that Sweden has, and Norway too. We have contacts, we know we have options if things happen, put it that way. But we prefer not to plan too much in detail and let the experience happen itself rather than sort of pre-program it. And I enjoy being a little bit more spontaneous that way. But we'll see. We think we've got the right gear. Mentally, I think we're ready. Physically, I'm not so sure. And thank God for the weather today, and it's going to be starting off like this. When the weather gets bad and the knees get sore, we don't know, but we're determined to do it as best we can, and we'll take whatever comes.
And I think it sounds really great because, you know, working professional with pilgrimage, we usually think you need to plan, this is the accommodation, book in advance, but I do really understand that you prefer not to be so structured. And I would also say that I think you are doing this in a very good time of the year, because it's not what we would say high season still. So it's probably a good one. But tonight I know you're staying in an accommodation, and maybe you will have a few of those, but you will also have your tent. It's a lot to carry, isn't it?
Yes. and that is a worry. But it would be so sad to let go of life and adventure just because of fear and worry. That alone is a reason to do it, because fear should not decide. And yes, I am worried. Do I get hungry? Do I get sore legs? Do I get a sore back? And I know Kevin is stronger than me, but that's not a reason to say no. We only have one life.
And in my opinion, it's not a failure if you have to take 2 days of a break, or if you have to take a break and come back next year. You never know what happens. Just go for it.
We don't know. I mean, I think we've done the best we can. Our gear is pretty lightweight. And my backpack is about 15 kilos, which seems okay to me so far. But I'm really not carrying anything that I'd be heartbroken with if I had to throw it away, put it that way. And I think if I need something, we can get it along the way. There are shops and services available. So it's not the luxury, it's what works, and that's all that matters.
When you start tomorrow, what time will you get up and get going?
I think we aim to be here at 9 o'clock. Get started.
And
we'd like to check in with the Pilgrim Centre and just somebody should know we're starting this in the locality. In case they have to send a search party, they'll know what we look like. But we'd like to visit the Pilgrim Centre tomorrow, and then we'll set off probably 9ish, 9:30 early in the morning. And Matfors is the first stage, so that's not one of the longer ones, so we should be there in good time for the evening.
And I think most pilgrims have heard about this man called Tommy. Yes, so you will probably stop by his place and have a cup of coffee and tell him that you're on your way as well. Tilda, do we have any questions from the Facebook? Perfect. All love to you.
People sending the hearts. Mine will send axes.
Well, I'm really happy that you stopped by, and a blessing to you and a good luck to you and love to you tomorrow and on your whole journey. And maybe during this live session, maybe we can catch up with you another place.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for all that you've done for making the St. Olaf's Laden known, because it was largely through your work that I thought, yeah, these are serious people, and this pilgrimage trail has produced a lot of good in a lot of different people, so that's why we were attracted to it initially. So thanks for the work that you do.
Thank you so much. And we will actually learn from 2 other guests now a little bit more about this area and this pilgrim trail. Thank you again. And I know that Kevin and Marianne will stay at an accommodation tonight called Lilla Äppelgården, and that is like a bed and breakfast close by to here. And tomorrow they will go to Matfors with their tent, but if they would like an accommodation, they could stay at Bellmansgården. Please, Tobias, you are mostly welcome, because you are the one that is in charge and running Bellmansgården in Matfors. And that is an accommodation for pilgrims. I think there is at most 3 who can stay with you. So this is a very small accommodation. And that's very typical St. Olaf's Leden. people stay at home with Swedish people in their houses, in their basement, in their little cottage on the yard. So tell us, what is Bellmansgården and what's your place? Explain it to us.
Okay, thank you for having me. And I'm quite new at this with the pilgrimage. I've been involved just with the accommodation since last summer, but it's been in me and my wife's kind of consciousness for almost as long as the pilgrims have passed along the way, just outside our house. And the idea was to, okay, maybe we should do something. They keep coming, walking past us here, and we can maybe make use of, the houses we have on the little farm that we have in Matfors. And a few years ago we decided, let's do this now. Let's fix this little accommodation. So.
And I know when they come to you, they don't stay inside your house because you live in your house, but there is this house outside, like the house on the yard kind of thing, where there is someone living and there is this accommodation and there is someone else living. Explain to us this house where the pilgrims stay.
Yeah, the place where we stay in Matfors, it's a typical old farm, like a U-shaped with the main house and the two houses like we're making wings on the side, on the U shape. And in one of the houses there is a small apartment where in the old days the farm hand used to stay there, the helper on the place. And there we have a family living there with children, and just next to that in an old wood shack, we built this kind of little cottage like inside the house, and that's in the middle of the house. But in the other end of the house there are actually a small stable, so there's two horses staying there, so you live in between the little family and the horses there.
I don't know, but do they in the mornings?
Yeah, I guess they can hear them maybe stamping their hooves in the floor and making some noises.
When you meet the pilgrims that come to stay with you, what are the most frequently asked questions, or what do they ask you about?
Sometimes they ask about practical things, where to go get some food or something, because we don't have we don't serve food at our place, but we just we're situated just 5 minutes after you pass through the little center there, where you have a supermarket and restaurant, so it's easy access, and you have also your do-it-yourself kitchen inside, so it's about where to buy stuff. And some people ask, where can I take a swim if it's warm, or if we have any tips along the trail. So that's why we also have started but not finished our own pilgrimage. So we're just some 30 kilometers before Östersund, so we take it in short trips.
So you and your wife have actually done the trail, but not the whole way?
No, it's me and my wife and two other couples walking together, just doing it as some fun thing together, and and it feels good that we do it, because we can talk about it to the pilgrims when we see them.
Renting out a little house or apartment or cottage for 3 people is not giving you that much income. So I know this is not what you do for a living. What do you do?
I'm actually working at an insurance company, giving people advice about pension and savings and insurance.
And that's kind of how it is. And I think that's a very personal way of welcoming pilgrims to our houses, because it's not a hotel, and you will not meet a receptionist. You will meet a real Swedish person who definitely live in the society and is a part of that. So who knows what advice they will get when they come to you.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of things. It's a different thing every pilgrim. Sometimes I have the time to really talk to them and ask questions, and we like for hours sometimes. And sometimes I don't even meet them because we're not home, and they have the code to the door and can go in by themselves. So it's very different.
There is an old music writer called Bellman. He's very famous in this country. But I know that your Bellmansgården, the Bellman house, is not from that Bellman. Tell us the story about Bellman.
Yeah, actually the farm was bought by my grandfather on my father's side in the late 30s. So in the beginning, the farmers, they don't have tractors, they worked with horses, and just in the transition between horses on the farms and tractors, his last working horse was called Bellman. Okay, and that's what's also my father's favorite horse when he grew up as a little boy. And when we some years ago we refurnished, or how do you say, we
made the accommodation.
No, before that we built a stable from the old cow shed. So it was milking cows first, and then we made it into horse stables. And then we came up with the history with Bellman. He actually lived there, in there. So we named that stable Bellman. So when we did the pilgrim accommodation, we thought about, okay, Bellmansgården for the pilgrims. So the same theme.
And definitely a good name when it comes to the neighbors, the horses.
Yeah.
My final question to you, Tobias, unless there is any questions from the audience, is that do you remember something special? Do you meet people all the day or many days a week that come to stay with you or not stay with you, maybe passing through? Is there any special memory that you could share with us?
We're quite new at this with the accommodation, but it was just a few weeks ago. I was out on the street just outside the accommodation getting my mail in the mailbox, and a pilgrim came walking, and I said, hello, how is it going, and would you like some water or some coffee or something? We started talking, and he came in and we sat down and talked for a long while in our kitchen. And actually he wasn't going to stay with us, but I liked just to meet people and talk to people. And he was from Brazil, in Belo Horizonte in Brazil, and he told us about that city. And he used to be a teacher in geography and all that, so I'm really interested in that kind of things. And he told us his story about living in Lisbon first, and then he met a Finnish girl who's his girlfriend now, living in Åbo, Turku, and he wanted to do the pilgrimage, and he has really, read into the Swedish history, knew about Finnish pilgrimage going this way through Selånger also in the old days. And we talked about a lot of things. We talked about kind of personal things as well. We'd just been through a loss in the family, and he told us the same thing happened to him just a short while ago. And it's really nice to meet someone like that. And he was going, this time he was going to Östersund. And he said afterwards, he texted me and said, he's definitely coming back and doing the rest. So, and he invited us to come to Berlin. So it's really kind of, you never know what happens.
I think that's a good summary. You never know what people you will meet, both if you're a pilgrim or if you are living along the trail, definitely. Thank you so much, Tobias, for being here with us, and a big good luck to you this summer with the pilgrims staying with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I don't even know what time it is, but yeah, we're keeping it quite good. We were saying that we would do this in 45 minutes, and we have about 10 minutes left. But maybe we will scratch that to 15, you never know. Because now I will invite my last guest, and I think he can talk a lot if we want to. I would like to summarize this day with kind of the father of the Pilgrim Trail, not as he's the new St. Olav in any way, but he's called Putte Eby, and he's the one who restarted the trail many years ago, and he's done almost the whole trail himself, and especially he knows a lot about different places. Putte, please come, and on your way, why don't you bring this material, and you can be on this side.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. We will use this in a moment.
Yeah.
We are in Selånger.
Yes.
That means there is no trains coming here and no airplanes coming here. How do the pilgrims get from the city to this place?
I would say that most of the pilgrims who come here comes with the train. Could come with the train all the way to Stockholm and then continue to Sundsvall. Or maybe they fly to Arlanda and then they take the train from Arlanda to Sundsvall. You could fly also to Sundsvall, but I would say that's no use because it takes longer time than take the train from Arlanda. But then when they're finally here, I would say that many of the pilgrims, they want to walk. But the thing is that actually this St. Olavsleden, it starts here in Selånger. So you don't really cheat if you take the bus. So many people, pilgrims, also take the bus from the city center of Sundsvall out to Selånger.
But I know that you can find the signs of the Pilgrim Trail already at the train station in Sundsvall, right?
Yes, hopefully, yeah. In the city center, it's the same in Östersund and the same in Trondheim. That's also the trickiest, because some kids, maybe 14 years old, they like to take things down and turn them the wrong way, and but there are signs all the way from the train station out to here. Yes.
Good. So we can just say then, be careful and use Google Maps if you're trying to find the starting spot. When they come to the Pilgrim Center, what do they find inside here?
They find a very nice restaurant and a very nice cafe and a shop. But one really good thing is that in the shop they also find the pilgrim passports. So it's not necessary to have them, but the pilgrim have walked to Santiago or to Rome. It's the same tradition. That it's a way of, when you come to Trondheim, if you want to have the Olavsbrevet, the Olavs letter, like a diploma, then you have to show that you have been walking quite part of the trail. And then it's good to have the stamps. In the passport.
And we do have the passport. So why don't we show the passport, how it looks like? Just show it to the people over there. It's like a little booklet.
Yes.
And inside is kind of almost white, because there are no stamps apart from one.
There is some information on the one side. So the tough pilgrims, they don't need the Google Maps or ordinary maps. They just take this one and walk. Because, that you should just go west. So you can't get lost. Just go west. Yeah. But on this side, there is places for the stamps. Yeah.
And we do also have a stamp that we actually borrowed
we
from the
took it from Helene, yeah. So
we will return it though.
yeah,
So
I promise.
Stamp now and see how it works.
Yes, so I do it the right way.
So
Now when I'm
the
on
longer-
public.
Yeah, you take the stamp and you stamp it, and then you can write your own date. And every stamp is different, right?
No.
No.
Most of the stamps are different. But when we have people like Bellmansgården, you don't have a stamp in your family anymore. When my father was busy, he had a stamp to sign economic things for the family. Yeah. But so if there is no stamp around, then I fix it. So we have a with the logo for the St. Olof's trail. So, but I would say that this the stamp from Selånger is one of the finest trails, because it's really a symbol of that it's the start of Olav, because it's a Viking ship with an axe, because the symbol of Olav is especially the axe. So if you are in an old church and looking for something, that is this an Olav church, because there are many Olav church in Finland and Sweden and Norway and Denmark, even in England, in London there is one Olav church. So you look for the axe, then you know that this person on the, and you could also look for a big bear, a red bear, because that's also a symbol of Olav. So, and then there is a cross in this the what do you say, mast?
Oh, in the mast.
In the mast, yeah. It's not just a mast; it's also a cross, a Christian cross. So it's a and you find these stamps along the trail. Most of the people, the way you could stay, have stamps, but there is also some stamps in red boxes along the trail. There are in the churches. They could be in tourist office in Östersund. Yeah. So, but to come to Trondheim and have this Olav's letter, you don't need hundreds of stamps. You need maybe 10 or 15, but it has been like a sport to get so many stamps you can. So there is also pilgrim passports along the trail. So some people come to Östersund and the passport is full of stamps already. So then you buy a new one in Östersund, and you can also find a new one in Stiklestad. So
I'm thinking, to get we're talking about the Olavsbrev, and many know probably what that is. It's kind of a diploma that you can get when you're done with your pilgrimage.
Yep.
To be able to get this diploma, the letter, you don't have to walk the whole trail. Is that correct?
No, but actually you have to walk the last 100 kilometers. So actually you have to walk from Stiklestad to Trondheim. So, but the people who sit there at the reception in the Nidaros, the Pilgrim youth hostel, in just very, very close to the cathedral, they are quite nice people, of course. So if you miss 1 or 2 stamps or 1 or 2 kilometers, but it's also, if you come by bike, which many are, then you have to bike 20 kilometers. So it's a little bit longer.
We were talking to Tobias earlier about accommodation, and what's your experience when you are not from Sweden? And they want accommodation. Do they bring cash, or is it card working? Because in Sweden we have this electronic thing called Swish between mobiles, and we don't have that in other countries. They have another one in Norway called Vips, and they have probably others in other countries. What's the best way to bring money for paying with?
If there is big hotels or bigger bed and breakfast, or not like Bellmansgården, a very small, private, nice place, then you could use credit cards, of course. Sweden is a really credit card country. Norway wasn't it, but they started to become a credit card country. Because in Norway, they are very conservative, so they take time before they change things. Yeah. Swish is just working in Sweden for Swedish people, or if you're come from another country but live in Sweden, then you probably have Swish, because you have to have a Swedish bank. And whoops, that's called in Norway, you need a Norwegian bank. So I would say, to be safe really on the trail, bring some cash. So some Swedish cash, or then some Norwegian cash. That I would say it's the best thing to do. Yeah, I don't know. There is less and less cash machines. When I came to Östersund 14 years ago, the first time, I think there was 10 or 12 cash machines in Östersund. Now I think it's 2, because the Swedish banks, it costs money. So, and all the Swedes have all the economic things in their computer.
So we summarize: bring both your Visa card and your cash.
And
if
you pass a cash machine, take the chance and cash 200 or 300 Swedish kroner.
Also, I think we get some questions about buying food along the way. A lot of accommodations do have food, dinner, but is it possible to buy food? Are there stores along the road all the way?
Yeah, I would say so. In the bigger villages, so in Matfors there is a store. In Stöde there is a store. We stopped now on the way here in Fränsta. There is a grocery store, even two in Fränsta. So there is in the bigger places there is a grocery store. But the most important thing is when you come to Duved. Now we come close to the Swedish-Norwegian border. Then there is no grocery stores for 80 kilometers. Yeah, because then you are part in the wilderness, in the mountains a couple of days. So, and that's why there is no grocery store. So if you want to bring your own food, there is places in Tenfors, for example, that you can buy breakfast and so. But if you want to buy your own food, there is an ICA in Duved. That's the last food before the border. Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Before, when we talked to Kevin and Marianne, they told us about the allemansrätten, all man's right, that we have in Sweden and Norway. To people who don't, public access, people who don't know what that is, how would you explain it easily?
Easily, I would say that it's a long tradition. It was even public access when Olav was walking 1,000 years ago. So it's a bit different. It's sort of the same in Norway, but in Sweden it's more really into Swedish, the heart of soul. So, and the thing is that if you go somewhere in the woods or whatever in Sweden, you should sort of leave it as it was when you first came there. And you are not allowed to walk on another man's, what do you say, close to their house.
Like the garden.
The garden. Then there is no allemansrätt. So, but in the woods, who owns by some other, that's okay to walk there. But you're just allowed to put up your tent one night. So, then you have to continue. So. And then there is a whole number of certain flowers and mushrooms and whatever who is not allowed to pick. Some of them are allowed to pick in some time of the year, but some of them are, you shouldn't touch them at all. So that's the more high school of allemansrätten. But yeah, of course, don't throw your rubbish. I think that's common sense for at least most of the people who are walking and are pilgrims. So be careful about the allemansrätten, because lots of people use it also to, for example, if you have a guide company, you maybe are out there and you walk the same route time after time after time, that means then you got a trail who shouldn't be there. So, and you also maybe put up your tent not just one night or 2 nights, because it's a lovely place and the tourists love to stay there. And then they are on the so the allemansrätt it's on the it could disappear, because some of the landowners said that the allemansrätten did exist 100 years ago with no problem, but now there is more people are hiking, so, and they started to say we don't want to have the allemansrätt anymore.
Use the nature, but leave it as you found it.
Yes.
And we will talk more about allemansrätten later on in this live session.
On our website, on St.Olofsleden.com, there is a allemansrätt school also, that if you want to learn or read some more about it.
Well, I think one of the last questions for now is, are there any guidebooks, or do they follow the pilgrim passport only?
No, on the website again, there is both a digital map, Naturkartan, who also, like an app, you could download the Naturkartan and you find everything with the grocery stores and the places to stay, best place to swim. Yeah, so it's like an app, but it's not an app, it's Naturkartan. And there is also digital maps that you can print out if you're in old school and want to have a paper and write on, and then you have gone your 50 kilometers something, then you throw the map away and you take out the next sheet. So that's you could do. And there is also guidebooks. There is one in Swedish, of course. There is one in, two in from the Holland. There is two in Denmark.
A German one, I know there is.
Yeah, there is a German one. Yeah, two from German. Yeah.
And English, of course.
And one in English. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's possible probably to buy them here, and there is a possibility.
Some of them.
And it's also
One
possible.
of the problem, you have to check out when was it printed, because the work with the trade started really in 2012, and now it's 10 or 14, 12 years have gone, and some of the books are maybe printed in 2014, and there had happened a lot of things with the trade, so try to find the latest one.
Well, finally, we will say thank you to you, Putte,
thank
and will you explain what this is?
This is?
Yes.
This is a hänge. Hänge. All the signs, this is the symbol of the St. Olavsleden, but it's also a symbol of all the medieval trades who goes to Trondheim, to the Nidarosdom. Because Olav, he's huge, big in Norway. He's the eternal king, and he's everything in Norway. So he's the Riksantikvarieämbetet. It's the history organization of the in Norway, the state-owned. So they have made this symbol for all the. So it's not a Swedish symbol. It's not a symbol just for St. Olavsleden, this trail, but all the medieval trails who goes. So you could find this symbol in Denmark or now in Finland that we, because there is trails who starts in Åbo, goes to Åland, and then comes to Sweden, and then goes all the way to Trondheim. They are not so well marked yet. So St. Olavsleden and the trail from Oslo in Norway, they are the ones who are most in use right now. But this is a symbol, and it's this kulturkringla. And this is a cross, of course, a Hansa cross. So, and there was a very easy to making this symbol. They put two symbols together, and that makes the symbol for St. Olav's trails to Trondheim. And then the rest of it is red, and it should be a certain, I can't the number of the color, but it should be an English red. Yeah, that's very important. And this that's this thing here, it uses for hanging up here. You take a rope and hang it on the way in the forest, so you could find your way on the but there is different signs, but all the signs have this mark.
So if you don't have a map, you actually have to just find the signs, and then you will find your way all the way to Trondheim from. And we are talking about 580 kilometers.
Yeah, many sticks, I can promise. Yeah, but many people have been working to put them out.
Okay, thank you so much, Putte. This was the first session out of 7, as I told you before. So on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we will do the same thing again in Borgsjö. And
with new people.
With new people,
yeah, so you don't have to see me anymore, I promise.
The thing is that we will have kind of a theme next time. So we will talk quite a lot about Swedish nature, animals, flowers, leaves, things that grow, and both how they look like, but also that you can eat them. So we will have guests talking about that, and we are excited about that as well. And hopefully, if the weather is fine, we will take you all and sit down at the at the well of Borgsjö, the St. Olav's well. And we will give you the perfect story of how that well appeared. Mostly welcome back, and thank you for now.